The Community Education Channel presents Community View, a closer look inside community issues that matter. It's a glimpse, a preview, bringing public perception to light on local community issues that make a difference. Hello and welcome to Community View. I'm Melissa Anderson. Due to recent fires and fire danger, the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management and the Bureau of Land Management and Bureau of Reclamation have implemented Stage 2 fire restrictions. Continued dry conditions and an increase in winds, red flag warnings, and fire danger, along with our COVID-19 pandemic, are making it very difficult for fire officials, and they need your help. With us today to talk about this is the Arizona Strip District Manager, Mike Herder, and Fire Management Officer, Sean Hacka. Welcome to both of you via Zoom.
Good morning. Welcome to you.
Welcome.
Morning. Thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, we'll talk to Mike. Mike, these fire restrictions went up on May 12th. That seems pretty early for this time of year. Can you tell me what the main reasons for this were?
Well, of course, we've been looking at fire conditions, and we got quite a bit of spring moisture, and so we got a lot of spring growth in the grasses and the understory. Following that, we had a long period of no rain. More than 150 days. So now we're in a situation where we've had very light rainfall this year, and so we've got a lot of fuel and pretty dry conditions. So it's been our goal to enlist help from the public to identify things that we can all do to help minimize the man-caused starts on public lands.
Now, Sean, I also understand that there have been many fires reported recently, and at least 2 of them were man-caused. Can you tell us about how those started? And as we already heard from Mike, it's really dry out there.
We did have our first fire May 5th that kicked us off. It was called the Hancock Canyon Fire. And typically in that area on the Beaver Dam slopes, we don't get a lot of fire growth for a lot of acres, but we end up having 109 acres, and that was human caused, and followed by a couple fires. One is the Cliff Dwellers, and interesting enough is that was on our east side of our district. And I know it wasn't a large fire and not a lot of publicity on it, but it was in an area that we don't get a lot of fires, and that was a fire that was off of the road system, off of the highway over there. So a very small fire caught early. And then we also had the mine fire just south of St. George here at the Black Rock exit, 65 acres. Again, that was human caused. And it was just days after we went into our fire restrictions.
Now, explain what those fire restrictions are, Mike, and what they entail. Does this mean camping is closed, or do you anticipate closing down camping as we head into the summer and campfires?
So we're focusing on things like shooting restrictions. Certainly, explosive targets and things like that are a concern for us because they do lead to escaped fires and that sort of thing. So we have shooting restrictions in place. People are not allowed to discharge firearms on public lands unless they're lawfully hunting. We also have restrictions in place for fires, whether campfires or fires from stoves and things like that. We have restrictions for about people using various types of power tools like chainsaws and grinding tools and things like that. Certainly, we recommend people don't drive their vehicles off onto the grass and park in dry grass situations.
Sean, I also understand that resources for fighting these fires is also scarce since we are still dealing with the risks of COVID-19. Can you tell me what you're trying to do to mitigate potential risks to our firefighters?
Some things that we're doing different is that we're not bringing everybody together all at the same place at the same time. We have worked really hard on digesting all of the direction from CDC as well as agency policy, and and sifting through all that and developed a mitigation plan for our firefighters.
Our intent is to keep our firefighters isolated in their home units, practicing social distancing within those units, and to focus on a rapid response from our initial attack resources to keep fires small and then get them out quickly. Where possible, we'll make use of air resources to limit the spread of the fires. And then all of these things should help us keep our fire camps small with the units mostly separated from one another.
And we're also headed into a season where we'll see more lightning storms.
We do have a heavy lightning occurrence, and we have had major fire growth very in a rapid time. And so we put our resources out in those locations so that, number one, they're available to get on those fires. Other things that we use is our National Weather Service provides us our daily weather, as well as the next day and the week out, kind of telling us, hey, here's a snapshot of what we're expecting. And so we really have a good pre-attack plan, and our resources are very honed in on ready to fight fire for the summer.
Well, sometimes it's hard to predict the weather, especially those gusty winds we've been seeing recently with red flag warnings. So with all that, what does this mean for the future of the prescribed burns then?
There are some policy that we're following to determine if we are going to be doing any prescribed fires during this time of year with our COVID-19 stuff going on. But right now, we look at every situation and determine if there is a need. And right now, with our conditions and the time of year, we typically don't put any fire on the landscape here on the Arizona Strip District this time.
So when do we expect to rescind these fire restrictions, Mike?
So once conditions improve and the risk of wildfires has been reduced, our fire restrictions will be rescinded. And at that time, all these activities will continue as normal. So typically what we see is a lot of monsoonal moisture coming in late July, early August, and that oftentimes signals the kind of the easing of extreme fire conditions.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of that last year, but hopefully we will this year. We really need the moisture. So what can the public do right now to help out?
Well, one of our wildfire prevention campaign slogans is this: do your part, don't let a wildfire start. And that's one of my favorites. We know that the public plays a very valuable role in preventing wildfires. On average, human-caused wildfires make up more than half of all wildfire occurrences in Arizona. So many of our wildfires start from vehicles and equipment, or campfires, or burning debris or trash, or on private property or adjacent lands. So what we recommend is always keep outdoor fire safety in mind. Follow all the fire restrictions. Use spark arresters on small equipment, and don't use this equipment in areas where fire restrictions are in place. Secure tow chains and check the condition of tires and brakes. And then please don't pull your vehicle off the road into dry vegetation.
And Sean, how can we prepare for these wildfires? I think the most important thing is follow what Mike said, but then really be adhere to the fire restrictions. We're trying to help the public. We're trying to help each other and allow for recreating, but then making sure we're not, getting any more fires than we really need to.
So where can we find out more information about the restrictions and everything that we should be doing in order to stay safe, Mike?
In the general sense, just talking about restrictions and fire safety and that sort of thing, people can go to the BLM website, www.blm.gov/Arizona. For current fire situations, you can look on the web. You can get to the INCI web, that's INCI web, www.nwcg.gov, and that will give you information about what local fires are burning and what the conditions are at that time.
Well, I just like to thank all of you for what you do right out there, trying to keep us all safe. We wish you a safe fire season and hope that the public will adhere to your restrictions, so to keep everybody safe. And like you said, by not allowing wildfires to start. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah. And we just like to thank all of you for watching. And we just like to say, stay safe and be safe. Have a great summer.